If you're selling your small business, something that I recommend you do is when you get to the stage where you're entertaining buyers, I highly recommend that you work to understand your buyers, why they want to buy a business, why they're looking at your business, what's driving them to make this acquisition. Is it because they want to build a portfolio of businesses, or is it because they want to create a business for their family that they can pass on to their children? As the business owner that's selling the business, you're going to have your own why. You're going to go through all of these details to get your business ready to sell. You're going to package your business up. You're going to have your financials ready. You're going to be asked on any business selling website what your reason for selling is, and you're going to list it. But it's interesting because we don't tend to ask the same question of the buyers. But I think it's super important. And the reason for that is that if the buyer and the seller are aligned in their whys, then it's a lot easier to get over many of the hurdles, challenges, things that come up during negotiations on an offer and then due diligence, because everybody's actually moving collectively towards the same goal. And I had the fortunate experience to work with a buyer and a seller that aligned perfectly. So we were able to get over all of the challenges and get to closing, and we didn't have to deal with there was never any animosity. Sometimes there was a little bit of push and pull because we were working things out. The buyer wanted things, the seller wanted things, but at the end of the day, the seller had owned their business as a family business with themselves and their spouse, and they really ideally wanted to sell to almost like their younger selves. They wanted to be able to hand over the business to a younger couple. They weren't very young; they were mature young in age, and but that worked out. It just worked beautifully because they got to know each other. They had me working with them, so I was able to keep all the nuts and bolts of things moving. But when they did get together and they had their first meeting, they went for dinner and they got to know each other, and it was a wonderful experience for both of them and for me to be involved with. So I think that's something that I would highly recommend if you are selling a small business. As you start to speak to, even if you're selling the business yourself or if you're working with a broker, have the broker dig down a little deeper and find out actually what's driving the buyer, because it's going to make the experience not only more enjoyable, it will make it slightly less stressful, not a lot, because it is stressful and it is emotional, but I believe it will stop things from coming unraveled where they could if everybody's aligned and your buyer's why. So I hope that's helpful.